Good evening, this is the Northern Sun Experience. I'm David Brown, and one of the longest dynasties in college sports is about to meet its final test. Concordia St Paul has won the past 7 NCAA Volleyball Championships, but this season Minnesota Duluth has consistently been at the top of the standings. Now, as the conference tournament wrapped up this past weekend, it looked like the Golden Bears and Bulldogs would meet in the championship, but the second seed still had to get past third-seeded Wayne State in the semifinals. Tied at 1 game apiece, Concordia staying strong in the third set. Emma Lang will slam it home as the Wildcats can't recover. Fourth set now, Wildcats respond as Elizabeth Gebhardt gets the block at the net. We're tied at 2 going into the decisive fifth set. Match point for Wayne State. Katie Hughes' spike is sent into the air, and it falls down for the win. Wildcats upset the Golden Bears 3-2 to advance to the conference championship. Meanwhile, the top-seeded Bulldogs faced 4th seed Southwest Minnesota State. That's Mariah Sharp with the Bulldog kill, but check out the SMSU response. Aisha Odom with the throwdown. Mustangs won set 3, but it would not be enough. Katie Ledwell gets the block for UMD, and she'd finish things off with a match point spike. Minnesota Duluth tops SMSU 3-1. That set up a battle between the Bulldogs and Wildcats in the championship. Second set, Maddie Saroying with the cross-court kill to give UMD a 10-point lead. Later, it's Monica Turner showing some finesse over the net. Minnesota Duluth would finish off Game 2 with this cross-court kill by Sydney Mock. Match point in the third set, the Wayne State volley goes out of bounds, and UMD sweeps its way to the NSIC title 3-0. So, with Minnesota Duluth as the conference champion, they get the top seed as well as hosting duties for the NCAA Central Region. UMD, along with the rest of the top 4 seeds in the conference tournament, all make it to the big dance. Starting on Thursday the 20th, the Bulldogs play number 8 Arkansas Tech, while number 5 Wayne State takes on 4th-seeded Central Missouri. Concordia St Paul's first-round matchup will be against number 7 Washburn, while the 3-seed SMSU plays number 6 Nebraska Kearney. Well, from one sport just starting its national tournament to another that's been rolling right along. The NCAA Soccer tournament featured 3 NSIC schools. We'll start with Augustana, who earned the 3rd seed in the Central Region. They took on the 6th seed Central Oklahoma, and keeper Ashley Limmer had herself a day. The Viking had 6 saves on the afternoon, including this one on a penalty kick to preserve a scoreless game. But in the 55th minute, the Broncos finally put one in. Off the corner kick, Kate Ferran gets it past Limmer for the goal, and that would be enough. Central Oklahoma eliminates Augustana with a 1-0 victory. Meanwhile, 5th-seeded Winona State took on the 4-seed Southwest Baptist from Missouri. 82nd minute near the end of the game, Carla Jamison gets the goal for the Bearcats, who take a 1-0 lead. But the Warriors wouldn't quit. After a scramble 20 yards away, the ball eventually makes its way to Elena Nee, who gets the equalizer. We would go to a shootout tied at 1. In that shootout, Rachel Olison would make 2 saves for Winona State, while Meg Rybow would get the decisive goal. The Warriors topped the Bearcats 4-2 in the shootout to advance to the second round, where they would face a familiar foe. Third meeting in 3 weeks with Minnesota State, the top seed in the region. Goals by Sydney Temple and Jessica Bowe in the second half would prove to be too much once again, and the Mavericks advance 2-0. So Minnesota State continues its run. They'll take on Central Missouri in the Sweet 16 on Friday. The winner of that game will face the winner of Grand Valley State and Wisconsin Parkside on Sunday. The Mavericks are making their 3rd appearance in the Sweet 16. They made the Elite 8 once back in 2012. When we come back, the last week of the regular season in football and a look ahead to the D2 playoffs.
The Northern Sun Experience on Midco Sports Network is presented by CU Mortgage Direct LLC, Sanford Health, and Dakota Land Honda.
Welcome back to the Northern Sun Experience. Well, for the past several weeks, we've explained how despite just 1 loss on the season, the University of Sioux Falls was in danger of missing the Division II football playoffs. Heading into the last weekend of the regular season, it was no different, as the Cougars were looking to finish on a high note in the snow versus Wayne State. Already up 14-7 and looking for more, Luke Papillion finds Josh Angulo for the score, 14 yards out, 21-7 Cougars. Wayne State wouldn't give up without a fight, however. Zach Osborne takes it himself on the read option, 21 yards to cut the lead to 21-14. But like Osborne, the Wildcats would tumble after that. Papillion finds Josh Angulo for another touchdown. This one covers 60 yards, 28-14 USF, and they would pour it on from there, topping Wayne State 63-28. So would that be enough to make the playoffs? No, it would not, despite a 10-1 record, with that one loss coming at Minnesota State, a team consistently ranked number 1 in the country. USF does not make the postseason. Here are the 6 teams that did make it in the NCAA Super Region 3. The number 1 seed is actually Ouachita Baptist out of Arkansas in the Great American Conference. They'll take on the winner of number 4 Minnesota Duluth, who finishes 11-0, versus number 5 Northwest Missouri State. The number 2 seed is Minnesota State, who also finishes 11-0. They'll take on the winner of number 3 Pittsburgh State and number 6 Harding, an Arkansas school that beat USF out for the final spot. The Cougars, as the top team from the NSIC not to make the postseason, will still get one more game, however, at the Mineral Water Bowl. That takes place Saturday, December 6th in Excelsior Springs, Missouri. They'll take on Central Oklahoma from the MIAA. For more of my thoughts on the NSIC playoff situation, you can check out my blog online at midcosn.com. Well, as you saw, Minnesota State finished with a perfect season. Here's how they did it against Upper Iowa in blustery conditions. First quarter, Andy Pfeiffer breaks through the line and gets into the end zone, 19 yards, 7-0 Mavs. Peacocks trying to stay close, but Cole Jaskie's pass is picked off by Rob Myers. That would eventually lead to a touchdown from Nick Piracini to Dorian Buford. Mavs end the regular season perfect with a 45-14 win over Upper Iowa. Augustana traveled to Marshall to take on Southwest Minnesota State. Already up 6-0 when Trey Hyde finds Matt Heller in the back of the end zone, 12-0 Vikings. They're up by 30 in the third quarter when Dejan Newell busts loose, spinning off one tackler, avoiding another, then churning his way through more defenders into the end zone. Fantastic run, 57-yard touchdown. Augie's up 40-3. And they would cement it later in the fourth when Hyde finds Charlie Hayes. Great adjustment in the end zone. The Vikings top the Mustangs 47-3. Our closest contest in the South Division pit Concordia St Paul against Winona State. Tied at 7 in the second, Ben Schramsky throws it up and Cordell Smith comes down with one hand. Left-handed touchdown covers 35 yards. Golden Bears up 14-7. 24-14 in the third when Jack Nelson finds Dylan Ulfert. He reaches for the catch and does the rest. 33-yard score cuts the lead down to 3. Back comes Concordia. Trey Spears finds some room on the right side for an 11-yard touchdown. The lead is back to 10. Late in the fourth, Warriors trying to mount a comeback. Nelson's pass to the end zone is tipped and caught by Alan May. It's 31-28 with under a minute to go, but the onside kick fails and Concordia escapes with a 3-point victory. Let's move to the North Division now, where, as you saw in our playoff graphic, Minnesota Duluth moved to 11-0 on the season. Here's how they did it, taking on Minot State. First quarter, Bo Bofferding takes it off the jet sweep, 12 yards to pay dirt, 7-0 Bulldogs. Second quarter now, Drew Bauer keeps it on the read option. This 16-yard run made it 21-0 in the second. Later, Bauer hits Bofferding on the short pass, and he does the rest. 15-yard connection, and the Bulldogs top the Beavers 56-0. Let's head to Bemidji, where the Beavers hosted Northern State, and special teams played a role early. Damon Benham gets the block punt touchdown. Beavers up 6-0. Back come the Wolves. Nick Truen takes the screen pass and rumbles 24 yards to the house. Extra point is good, 7-6 Northern State. And if it worked once, why not do it again? Another screen to Truen. This time it covers 35 yards, and it's 14-6 Northern State. Now 28-6 in the second. Zach Neer tips the interception to Channing Barber, and watch this. Barber returns it to around midfield where he avoids tacklers, gets stuck in a pile, somehow gets away, and goes the distance. 91-yard pick six makes it 34-6 Northern State. The Beavers would make a valiant second half comeback effort, but Northern State would eventually win this one 48-41. The University of Mary was at St. Cloud State, another snowy field. First quarter, Nate Meyer goes up and Joe Mooney comes on down. 43-yard pitch and catch, and it's 7-0 Huskies. St. Cloud State up 26-3 when U Mary tries to put a dent in that lead. Zach Roberson to Bashawn Pope. It's now 26-10. Third quarter, Huskies keep their foot on the gas. Jaden Huff muscles his way to an 18-yard score to increase the lead to 25. But the Marauders would keep on chucking it. Roberson to Elby Pope this time. 65-yard connection, that would cut the lead to 48-36, but the Huskies would put it away late. Meyer to Matt Henke's 13 yards makes it 55-36, and St. Cloud State eventually tops UMary 55-44. Minnesota State Moorhead welcomed Minnesota Crookston in its season finale, and if you don't like defense, this is the game for you. Already 24-9 Dragons when the Golden Eagles strike on this 69-yard connection from Trayvon Hearns to Adam Canet. It's now 24-16. Next Moorhead possession, however, they feed the Medhog. Zane Medhog, that is. He goes 65 yards to the house, 31-16 Dragons at that point. It's now 38-16 in the third when Hearns finds Marcus Cheatham and he does the rest. 57-yard touchdown and the lead is back down to 15. But there was simply too much Zane Medhog. On this play, Demetrius Carr escapes the pressure, finds number 21 on the left sideline, and then he guts back toward the middle and some open space. 63-yard touchdown puts the Dragons up 45-23, and he would cap his day off in the fourth on this 57-yard run to pay dirt. Medhog had 316 all-purpose yards and 6 touchdowns as the Dragons roll 66-36 over the Golden Eagles. When we come back, basketball season has officially started. We'll check in with some of the top teams in the conference next.
The Northern Sun Experience on Midco Sports Network is presented by CU Mortgage Direct LLC, Sanford Health, and Dakota Land Honda.
Welcome back. Well, despite the abundance of snow outside, we're still technically in the fall season, but winter sports are now in full swing, including basketball. This weekend, the Sanford Pentagon in Sioux Falls held a Division II showcase with 4 NSIC men's teams, and one of those was Augustana, who took on Pittsburgh State on Saturday. First half, Jordan Spencer to Daniel Jansen in transition, one of Spencer's 10 assists on the evening. Later, Augie works it from outside as Alex Richter hits the 3. He had 18 for the Vikings, but the leading scorer was Casey Schilling. He knocks down the 3 from the elbow, and the Vikings top the Gorillas 86-69. In other Pentagon action, Washburn took on conference favorite Minnesota State on Saturday. Second half, TJ Lake finds Mike Busak for the 3. The Southpaw had 16. Later, more work from the outside as Lake gets a 3 of his own. Mavericks had to fight for everything against Washburn, but they would eventually pull away. Assem Marai with the two-handed slam off the assist from Zach Monahan, and Minnesota State tops Washburn 77-70. The Maverick women were at home Friday against Central Missouri in a tight one. Aubrey Davis nails the corner 3. She had 15 on the night. Later in the first half, Davis works the give and go off the inbounds. Mavs led by as many as 16, but were tied in the final seconds when Central Missouri's pass inside is stolen by Ashley Olsen, and she goes coast to coast for the game winner with 0.6 of a second left. Check it out one more time. A clutch play by the senior from Blue Earth, Minnesota, and the Mavs steal this one 70-68. In other women's action, Concordia St Paul hosted Fort Hays State from Kansas. This is preseason player of the year Annika Whiting with the corner jumper. She had 12. Later in the first half, Whiting drives the right side and gets the lay-in to go over multiple defenders. But the night would belong to Michaela Jones. She gets the steal here, goes coast to coast for the lay-in. She had a career-high 25 as the Golden Bears top Fort Hays State 70-68. When we come back, our Under the Northern Sun feature spotlights Upper Iowa.
The Northern Sun Experience on Midco Sports Network is presented by CU Mortgage Direct LLC, Sanford Health, and Dakota Land Honda.
Welcome back. As we do every week, it's time for Under the Northern Sun, where we spotlight one of our member schools. Tonight, it's Upper Iowa University, where a sprawling campus and state-of-the-art facilities add to both the academic and athletic excellence.
Upper Iowa University is located in Fayette, Iowa, which is in the northeast corner of the state. while Upper Iowa maintains its home in Fayette. With 1,024 students on campus this fall, the university has 19 off-campus educational centers across the United States. UIU also has educational centers in Hong Kong and Malaysia, as well as online and independent study programs with 5,859 students working towards degrees from Upper Iowa across 45 undergraduate majors and 4 graduate programs. Over the last few years, Upper Iowa has undertaken 6 major constructions that include a new liberal arts building that houses courses in the humanities, as well as a student center, 3 suite-style villages, and Harms Eichscheid Stadium, which is the home to Peacock football. The Student Center houses everything students need, including a cafe and the servery, which features a Mongolian grill, while the villages offer student suite-style living with choices of 4, 5, or 6-person suites. The Harms Eichscheid Stadium began its transformation prior to the 2012 season, when a turf field was inserted to replace the natural grass field. Prior to the 2013 campaign, a new scoreboard and video board, as well as expanded seating, was added. The press box was expanded as well to increase its square footage tenfold. All of the transformations to Upper Iowa's campus were made possible through the $25 million capital campaign, which came to a close this fall and included a $7.5 million gift from Steve and Diane Harms for the football stadium transformations. After a long tradition with the Iowa Intercollegiate Athletic Conference and NCAA Division III, Upper Iowa and the athletics department began their move up to the NCAA Division II following the 2002-03 academic year. The university chose to move to Division II and become the only higher education institution in the state of Iowa at that level. Upper Iowa found a home in the Northern Sun Conference, joining with the University of Mary for competition beginning with the fall of 2006. The Peacock Athletics Department made an instant splash in the Northern Sun with 2 conference titles in the first year and 3 in its second full season. Both the wrestling and women's golf teams won NSIC Championships in 2006-07 and 2007-08, and tennis added a conference championship in just their second year back on campus. The wrestling squad made its 6th NSIC Championships with a first-place finish in 2009-10. The women's golf team won an NCAA Regional Championship in 2009 and placed 8th at the NCAA Championships, while the wrestling team returned to perennial power status thanks to a 4-year run of top 6 finishes. Upper Iowa tied for 3rd at the NCAA Championships in 2010, placed 4th in 2011, 6th in 2012, and 5th in 2013. Academics are a huge responsibility of being a Peacock. Our student athletes have become the standard to be measured by at Upper Iowa. As a department, the grade point average of the student athletes last year was 3.27. The women's basketball team led the department with a 3.8 GPA, which was the highest team GPA among all divisions of women's basketball in the country this past season. The softball team also gained national honors with their 3.5 GPA, which was 4th on the NFCA's NCAA Division II list, while the cross-country team earned USTFCCCA All-Academic Team honors as well. The Peacocks offer 13 intercollegiate sports as well as a cheer team, and will increase their sport offerings to 15 with the addition of women's indoor and outdoor track and field next year. Upper Iowa is the state's only NCAA Division II university and a proud member of the Northern Sun Intercollegiate Conference. We are Upper Iowa University. We are the Peacocks.
When we come back, it's DB's Picks, my top 5 plays of the week in the NSIC.
The Northern Sun Experience on Midco Sports Network is presented by CU Mortgage Direct LLC, Sanford Health, and Dakota Land Honda.
Welcome back. It's time to honor the best of the best, the top 5 plays of the past week in the NSIC. At number 5, we head to Winona, where Alan May is in the right place at the right time. He gets the touchdown after the tipped pass. Check it out again. Winona State would eventually fall to Concordia St Paul. Nevertheless, while the calendar says it's November, it's still a good time to be May. At number 4, we stay in Winona, only this time Concordia's hauling in the honors. Cordell Smith with the one-handed and left-handed touchdown catch. It doesn't matter if he's a Beyonce fan, everything Smith needs is on his arm to the left. The 35-yard score gave the Golden Bears a lead they would never relinquish, keeping themselves on the right side of the scoreboard. For number 3, we go to the hardwood, where it may not have been a full house, but Ashley Olsen took it to the house. The steal and layup with 0.6 of a second left gives Minnesota State the win over Central Missouri. Check it out one more time, no need to worry about Mary Kate, this is Ashley's show. A 2-point win comes in at number 3. For number 2, we go to Marshall, where Dejan Newell goes old school on this run in the snow. Spinning off tacklers, turning his way through the rest of the Mustang defense to the end zone. The 57-yard touchdown gave the Vikings a 37-point lead. Dejan didn't have a lot of daylight, but he made it count at number 2. But our number 1 play comes from Bemidji, where Northern State's Channing Barber is a cut above. He gets the interception off the tipped pass, then somehow escapes from the pileup at midfield and goes the rest of the way. 91-yard interception return gave the Wolves a 34-6 lead, and they would eventually hold on 48-41 as Barber's pick 6 finishes my top plays at number 1. Before we go, a quick correction from last week. We misidentified Sioux Falls as second place in the Women's Cross Country Championships. It was actually Minnesota Duluth, so congrats to the Bulldogs. We'll see you next week on The Experience.